Hello, Maker. Welcome back to the Sam's Signature Studios. Today, I'm going to be making Christmas stockings using this fabric that is probably very old. It belonged to my mother-in-law before she passed away. So today, I'm going to use this to make some stockings in honor of her. I have created these patterns here. I have this one. And I have these smaller ones here, all the way down to this teeny tiny one. I'm going to use these to make ornaments out of. What I did was I went into Ibis Paint X on my phone and I drew out a stocking. Well, actually, I took a picture of this stocking that I made a few years ago, and I took a picture of it with my phone, and then I took it into Ibis Paint X and I traced it, just the stocking part. And then once I had it, well, I duplicated a bunch of it, sized it down, made sure I had the whole sheet filled with little socks, stockings. And then, because I didn't want to waste a piece of paper for just one when I had so much room, so much space left on the sheet of paper. So I just filled the paper and figured, well, with the other ones, I can make little ornaments out of. So I printed it out, and I wasn't really planning on making a video for this, but then I decided after I already cut out the one stocking here that I was going to make a video. So I found where I wanted to make Santa kind of the star of the show here. So this is going to be, this is going to be the front of the stocking. So I made sure that you can see Santa here, and he's upright. Of course, this side, I cut it while the fabric was folded so I could have two. And this side, he's going to be upside down, which the fabric has him right side up, upside down, all kinds of different ways, directions. So I just plan on having this be the front. Now that I have, well, I cut it with the pattern facing me, but now I have laid them wrong sides together. And then once I cut out, well, I took some tailor's chalk here, and I did I guess it's about a 1/2 inch for the seam line. I may end up going smaller just so I can have a bigger stocking, but, well, you can see, well, this is going to be my sewing line here. But I went, well, I'm going to show you with my other piece of fabric, because I'm going to be making multiple stockings here. I'm going to use this fabric as well. This one will be so much easier. So I'll show you with this fabric how I cut out this one. So if you're interested in watching how I make my stockings, just keep watching. Okay, so I guess I could cut out some more small ones. I want to do this one. It's so difficult. I don't really want to cut out the deer. I think this is the only part where I have the whole sleigh with the deer, the reindeer. So I don't know. I might just leave this alone and decide to make something else this way. That way I can use this. I don't know, maybe make a pot holder with it or something. Let's see, can I use this? I mean, I could use that. What's on the other side? Santa. I'm just going to Yeah, I'll just use that. Guess I could do that, and that way we have Santa here. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I cut it out. Would I be able to? No, I kind of don't want to waste any fabric. That's only about, yeah, it's 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. I think that'll be fine. Yeah, you might want to pin the pattern down. Okay, there's that. Now I'm just going to take my rotary blade here and kind of cut around. I want to make sure this is rounded here. Watch the fingers. Now, if you have a cutting machine, which I thought about doing this with my Locklick, you could bond the fabric with some fusible interfacing, iron on some fusible interfacing, and add the stocking to your design software. Because I did save these as SVGs, but I didn't want to deal with the interfacing and all that, so you could cut it out with your cutting machine. And if you have like the Cricut Maker 4, you can, if you have the rotary blade tool for that machine, then you can easily cut it without bonding it. Maybe all the makers. I don't know, I don't have a Cricut, but I do know that the Cricut Maker 4 cuts fabric with the rotary blade tool. So if you have that, you can use that. Okay, so here's this little stocking. Now I'm going to put them wrong sides together. And then I'm going to draw a line that I'm going to sew. Now I'm not going to sew this part. So I'm going to just do about 1/8 of an inch. This is my sewing line here. Okay. Now I have that. Okay. As for the top here, I'm going to as for this part, I'm going to use some blue fleece. I'll go across the top like that. Oh, it's going to look so cute. Okay, now that you've seen how I cut out the patterns, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the rest. And then I'll get back to you when I'm done with the cutting. Okay, now I have all of my stockings cut out. And I am starting on the cuffs. And some sewers will double let's see, how big is this? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If your stocking is 6 inches at the top, they'll double their cuff to, you need a 12 by 3.5, probably. Yeah, this is 3.5. Okay. I'm going to cut this in half. Actually, it's more than 3.5, but I want to cut this in half this way, and then it's going to look like that. Instead of doubling, I'm going to have 2 6 inches by 3.5, and then I'm going to put them right side facing each other once I cut this in half. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to cut this in half, 3.5 inches. Well, I'm going to cut these at 3.5 inches. Oh, this one's not quite 7. Is that the right one? I was going to use this set for this one. I guess it'd be alright if it's not exactly 3 inches. You know, it'll still look alright. Just under 3.5 inches, but I'll figure that out in the next one. Right now, I have enough to where I can I'm going to show you how to make one stocking, and then you can make the rest of them just like this. Okay, I have my patterns all cut out here. And as you can see, I've cut the fabric just a little larger. And if you want this pattern, I will upload these to my website, and you can go grab you the patterns there. It's one sheet of paper with all the different sizes on one sheet of paper. So you can go grab that. I'll leave the link to those in the description box below.
I placed the stocking pieces right sides together and sewed a 1/4 inch from the edge. Using pinking shears to trim the seam allowance will lessen the bulk of the seam and help keep the fabric from fraying. Now I'm turning the stocking right side out. Now I'm using a large crochet hook to round out the corners. I'm sewing the left and right sides of the cuffs, using the same seam allowance as the stockings. Pressing the seams for a nice, crisp finish. Next, I'm going to sew the tabs. I took a 1 inch by 3 inch piece of fabric and pressed it in half. I then folded the edges into the center, folded in half, and pressed again. Then I sewed the open edge closed, sewing as close to the edge as possible. I turn the cuff right side out. I placed it inside the stocking while it was turned right side out, making sure that the right side of the cuff faced the wrong side of the stocking, as well as lining up the seams on the side. Then, I folded the tab in half and placed it with the folded side downward between the cuff and the stocking, on the heel side where the seams are matched. Then, I pin the tab between the 2 layers of fabric. I made sure to open the seams and pin them flat, so it's not bulky when it's finished. I pin the rest of the 2 layers together for sewing. Then, I sewed along the top, leaving a 1/4 inch seam to attach the cuff to the stocking. Now it's time to fold out the cuff. Now, let's head over to the ironing board and press the seam for a clean finish. I'm using a lower heat setting and pressing the cotton side, as the high heat can melt the fleece. And voila! My stocking is finished. I'm going to finish sewing the other stockings. Then, I'll add some glitter HDV to the cuffs. Here are the finished stockings. I had so much fun making these. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button. And be sure to ring that bell, so you'll be notified of my next upload. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.